Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first virtual installment of the Databank Career and Investment Roadshow. It's great to see pictures and videos of everyone. I can see Theophilus, who is on video, Ebenezer, who is on video, Herman, hi, welcome. And Gilbert, I see you. And then I see some pictures for some other people as well. So we're very, very excited to have you here. We've got a lot that we're going to pack into the next 2 hours, and I encourage you all to get as much out of it as you can. So my name is Jillian Hammer. I am the Group Chief Marketing Officer for Databank. With me, right beside me, is Kojo Addae-Mensah. He is the CEO of Databank, and there's Herman waiting.
Hi, Herman. How are you?
Oh, hold on. Herman, let me, hang on. I have to unmute you. 1 second. Let me do that.
Cool, my brother. I'm here.
Yeah,
all right.
Good.
Yeah.
The beauty
Excellent.
of technology.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, you're in the bush somewhere. We are still there.
Juju.
Right.
So,
okay.
So once again, welcome. And let me just let you know what you're going to expect from today. So this program, we had actually started it off for 2020 in March in Kumasi, where we had done a physical meeting. And I think we did it on March 12th. And then on March 13th, there was an announcement that COVID had come to Ghana. So we had to stop and kind of put everything on pause. But the message I want you to take from today, which is the same message that we have applied to ourselves, is that no matter what crisis happens, you can still change, you can still adjust and take something positive away from it. So from today, I am hoping everyone will take the opportunity to learn, to grow, to not let anything that has happened this year define you in a negative way. And just know that, you know, at Databank, one of the things that we say is that greatness doesn't happen by chance. It happens by choice. And it's something that I fundamentally believe. So I'm hoping that all of you today will choose to learn something from this and make you stronger and better. So today we've got 2 speakers. One, we have got someone who has become a really dear friend of mine, and I'll tell you one of the reasons why I think we have so much in common. But we have Herman Chinery-Hesse, and he is the founder of one of Ghana's first software companies called SOFTribe. So I'll tell you a bit more about him in a second, but he will be talking about achieving career excellence and really sharing his story. Then we will have the group CEO of Databank, Kojo Addae-Mensah, come up, and he will also share 10 tips if you want to become a millionaire. And so at the end of each session, we will have time for a Q&A. At that point, I will ask you to either raise your hand, and then we will unmute you and you ask your question, or you can put it in the chat and we will read it out on your behalf. And at any point, if there is something that you hear, some nugget that you get from any of the speakers that you want to share with the group, drop it in the chat. And as we go along, I'll actually read it out for you. So we're going to get started. It's 10 minutes past 10, and I am going to actually just tell you give you a quick overview about our first speaker, Herman. And honestly, when we were working on his profile, there is so much to say about him and his accomplishments. Yet, one of the things that if you knew him, you would likely discover is that no matter how many accomplishments he has had, he's a complete opposite. He's not one of those people walking around with his shoulders puffed up saying, look at me, look at all that I've done. That's not him at all. But I will read the profile simply because I want you to know that the person who will speak has a lot to offer and has accomplished a lot. And so you should try and draw from him everything that you can over the next little while. So very quickly, Herman, he is an entrepreneur by heart, a Ghanaian technology entrepreneur, and he founded this company called the SOFTribe back in 1991, which was, if I'm correct, the first software company in Ghana. And it is still the leading software company in Ghana. And that company has pioneered a lot of groundbreaking products. So for him, it's all about innovation. When you think about the electronic payment systems, you think about POS, you go to a store and you pay. He's had a hand in that. Government payroll systems, you name it, he's had a hand in it if it has to do with technology. So if you were to Google him, you would see that he is referred to as the Bill Gates of Africa, which is a big title, actually. Yeah, I mean, it's really, really a massive title, but it's not a title for nothing. It's a title that he's gotten because he's demonstrated it. So he is somebody who's won a ton of awards. I can't list all of them, or so we'll spend the next 2 hours here with me doing that. But he's won awards. He's spoken at institutions like Harvard, Oxford, Wharton. He's a TED Fellow. He's been featured on CNN, BBC, Forbes, you name it. And he's named as one of the 20 notable Black innovators in technology, one of Africa's top 20 tech influencers, and among the top 100 most influential Africans of our time. So, without much ado, I am going to introduce somebody who is passionate about Africa, who is also passionate about my home country, which is Jamaica. And he is somebody that I just want you to draw from. So I'm going to unmute him once again, and then I'll turn it over to him. And Herman, the next 20 minutes is yours to just pour yourself into the young people who are on this call. Thank you very, very much for doing this. So you can go ahead and speak. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Oh, this is what I look like. Sorry, I'm in my house in the bush. So let me tidy up a bit. I didn't see the picture before. Okay, so good morning, everybody. Where do I start from? Thanks for all the accolades. As you know, I'm a simple person, so thank you. I grew up in Ghana. I went to Rich Church School. I went to Fancy Pim School. And I went to high school in the final year of high school in America because I didn't do well on my O-levels because I didn't study. So just to let you know that you don't have to have straight A's to become somebody. Because I'm talking to young people, I always make it a point to tell them that you don't have to be the top student in the class to get somewhere in life.
Yeah, I'll beat you up on this.
So I did a 1-year high school in America and 4 years university. And then I left and worked in England for 1.5 years. And then I moved to Ghana because I was a Pan-Africanist. My ideology was, if Africa is to move forward, we will have to build Africa. Nobody will build it for us. So even as a young person, I studied manufacturing. My degree is in manufacturing, not in technology, not in IT. But the IT was a hobby. I never sat in a programming class before.
Really?
So it was just a hobby. Just to show young people that what you study is not where you need to end up. If you can, sorry.
Yeah.
If you can think.
If I was doing sports full time, I'm sure.
Kojo was agreeing with you. Herman, you're muted. 1 minute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Can you hear me now? Excellent. So my attitude is that it's not what you study, it's how you think. And a lot of people get that wrong. So I moved to Ghana, having studied manufacturing, with a conviction that I would contribute to Africa rather than contribute to anyone else. My parents worked abroad, so I came to Ghana by myself. Nobody was in Ghana. I had my bedroom that my parents, when I grew up when I was a teenager, that was all I had. My parents didn't want me necessarily to come to Ghana. They wanted me to work abroad because, we didn't have our democracy and so on in place then. It was 1990, Christmas. I went to a nightclub, as I did then, every day, when I was here for Christmas holidays. And I met a few of my classmates who had just finished Legon. And they said I should help them to get to America. And I told them I was coming back and that, it didn't make sense for them to go abroad. And they thought I was crazy. They said basically that I had been to America and I didn't want them to go. And I said, but why would I care? But there's far more opportunity here. And they said, look, there are no jobs in Ghana. What's wrong with you? You've just come back, you've eaten too many hamburgers, now you're busy, you're talking nonsense. And I said, I'm sure I could. This was Saturday night, so I'm sure on Monday I can find a job. And they said, no way. And we made a bet for $100. And so on Monday morning when I woke up, the booze had cleared from my face. My eyes were clear. I was like, hey, I'm going to lose $100 to my friends if I don't go and find myself a job. So I remembered that when I was in London, I did some computer programming work as a hobby for a Ghanaian travel agency. So I picked up that work, made a few calls, and started hopping. This is about the one advantage of being in this part of the world. Your blackness is not a disadvantage. And I'd always known that. So when I came, when I woke up, I called a few of my friends and said, who has a travel agency? And they pointed me to Expert Travel. I walked in, said I wanted to see the managing director. And he said, yes, young man, what do you want? And I said, oh, I did some computer programming for I did some computer programming for a travel agency in the UK. And I think, hold on a second, let me drink some water. Hold on a second. Yeah, I'm back. And I think I may be able to help your organization. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can. We can.
Okay, good. And so he said, are you sure? I said, yes, sir. And I see you have a computer on your desk. In those days, the computers were like gods. It was all covered up and they didn't know what to do with it. So I said, wait a second. You run a travel agency. I can help you. He said, okay, no, young man, come back on Wednesday. I walked out very excited. One, because I got a chance to meet the MD. He come back later in the day. That's what he said. I'd seen the MD and having gone to school in America, walking into an organization and getting access to the MD when you're black, it's next to impossible. They'll think you've come for the cleaning job. So I was very happy about that. And at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, he said to come back. When I got back, the whole organization was sitting in a room. And they said, you said you can do your thing. You can make the computer work. You have the software thing. Make it work. So I sat with him and we started working. I started installing the system I designed in the UK to show him. Can you believe halfway through, he pulled me out of the room. He pulled me out of the room and said, young man, I want you to promise me one thing. I said, what? I want you to promise that you will not put any bacteria on my computer. You can guess what he meant. He meant virus. I said, no, don't worry. I've checked everything. I said, so no bacteria. I said, no bacteria. So we went ahead and I showed it to him. He saw the software. He said, I like it very much. And you are the first person who's brought us something that's for the travel industry. Only one problem. it has British things like VAT that was in England, wasn't in Ghana. You need to modify. And I know you've been working for a British company. And I know you took this from them and brought it to Ghana. I said, no, sir, I wrote it. He said, what are you talking about? I said, I created this whole thing. I said, I can make the modifications for you. So he said, okay, change this to that, make this blue, remove this, remove that. I said, just don't go anywhere. Just wait. Those days, the programs were very fast. I did a quick compilation and I showed it to him. He was so excited. He called the whole organization. Every department came. Hey, you, I'm from accounts. You help me with this. I'm from HR. You help me with it. I said, no problem. I want to negotiate. Everybody, stop. Let's negotiate. So that was my first contract. I won the $100 from my friends and I got my first contract. And then we started progressing from there, selling to other travel agencies. So next thing we know, all the travel agencies use our system. Next thing we know, CETA, the international group, is talking to us about setting up a partnership where we will be the travel agency software providers for their partners across the continent. So that came up. Then in the work we did for the travel agencies, we realized that the part that handles the sales of the tickets, I could modify it and put point of sale systems in the shops. There were no point of sale systems in Ghana in the 90s. So all these MaxMart, Melcom, I put the first point of sale systems in. We don't do the point of sale systems now because they were not profitable. We ran them for 10 years and realized we're not making money. And they were particularly troublesome because there was no internet. And the point of sale systems were mission critical. If something went wrong and somebody kicked the computer cable and the printer wasn't working, whatever we're doing, we have to stop and run because otherwise it will cause a queue. So it costs a lot to maintain them. And today there's internet, so you can remotely troubleshoot, etc. So we did that. Then we started doing strange things. We did a payroll system for Cooper's accounting firm, PricewaterhouseCoopers. They then used it for Unilever. Unilever told Guinness about it. Guinness came to us. We did it for them. Then all the plantations came to us because Unilever had plantations. Then the Star Beer, then Achimota Brewery, then the telcos, then the British High Commission, then all of them came to our payroll system. And that was our next phase. Then government of Ghana was having payroll challenges. They called us in and we went in. They have been struggling for 20 years using Oracle. We went in and in 6 weeks, we fixed the problem. 6 weeks, we shut down the Oracle, turned on, our system was called Akatia. For our Pan-Africanism, we named all our systems African names. And we went ahead and activated Akatia and worked with them. In 6 weeks, we had fixed the problem. They had a big backlog of back payments and so on. We fixed it. We did some proper magic. The first month we ran, the finance minister called us and said, the then finance minister said, wait a second, are you serious? Look, the payroll has dropped by $28 million for the month. I don't want any demonstrations. Are you sure you know what you're doing? Should I go ahead and pay? Go ahead and pay. We paid. After 2 weeks, he called us and said, they're a bunch of thieves. I was happily going to sign the check as I had been signing month on month. I've paid 28 million less and nothing has happened. So these are some of the things we did. The problem we've had in the public sector is that corruption fights back. So when you do things like that, we found out that we are diametrically opposed to the aims and objectives of a lot of people in those organizations. So what they do is after a few years run, they will find a way to push us out. So this is also a reality. I mean, that's how the world is. So there are ups and downs. You don't give up. You just keep fighting. You just keep pushing. You don't start hating people. Keep your eye on the ball. We have to develop our country. This was our motto. We have to develop our country. In spite of the fees, we will keep going. And it's fine. We'll just keep working on it. The next phase, we did some work on e-commerce. I spoke at TED the first time, and we immediately raised money, and we set up another company to do what are they called? These e-commerce things. but the ones out from Nigeria, I've forgotten their names these days. And what they were doing in terms of putting Ghanaian products, African products on the international market. We worked on that beautifully. While we were doing it, we invented a payment system to achieve, because mobile money didn't exist there. So it was impossible to get people in New York to pay online for whatever. We created a system where that could be done. When we created that system, we're happily going. We got investment from some American philanthropists, American investors. And we're moving on happily. We're on CNN. And then our banking regulator heard us on CNN and on Joy talking about this. The immediate reaction was, I was in the shower one morning. They came to our office, and my secretary called and said, Mr. Hammer, there's people, 3 men in suits, they're looking for you. So let me speak to them. I'm busy. I'm tired. Today I'll come to work late. He said, no, you don't understand. They put them on the phone. They said, we're not asking you to come. We're not begging you to come. We are asking, we have authority. We're asking you to come. We're demanding that you come. So who are you? So we're the regulator. Basically, they called us into a meeting and told us that we couldn't do what we were doing on the payment side because some banking regulation that basically it got so complicated. We had to stop what we were doing, stop completely, because to get the permits, the hoops we had to jump through, we had to go and get a bank to partner with us. And at that point, even now to some extent, the banks don't quite understand technology. They don't understand what mobile money is going to do and how it's going to decimate their industry if they don't jump in with a partner and be at the forefront. Lots of the banks don't understand that, even today. So we couldn't get a bank partner in time. We ran out of money. We went back to our SOFTribe work we were doing and continued and shut down the e-commerce business and told our investors, sorry, we don't have permission to do this. Our government will not let us do it. Our regulator won't let us do it. So we stopped, but we did a lot of research. Well, nothing is ever wasted. So with that energy, we got a contract in Sierra Leone to do utility billing for a solar company. The solar company was so excited by what we were doing because the edge over the competitors in Sierra Leone, it's like basically giving solar units to the people in the villages and them paying $2 a week to use the systems. So it's kind of like electricity billing or water billing. We designed, because Sierra Leone didn't have mobile money, so we took the system we had used, a variation of it for the e-commerce and modified it, and it started working for that. So no problem there. And then we thought, wait a second, this thing could work for water billing in Ghana. So we made friends at Ghana Water. We did a presentation to them, showed them what we could do for them. And voila, we ended up with the billing system that's currently used at Ghana Water, that electronic billing system that they use. So that was a big success. Ghana Water was doing very well. But as I say always, once you start working, you start cutting out the fat, you start cleaning the system, you generate enemies. And I'm sure if you guys find out, if you Google SOFTribe Ghana Water, you will find what happened. Basically, they wanted to find a way to get us out and take the system so that they could work it their way and go back to their old habits. And that's fine. So we move on. So lessons to be learned. You keep persevering. Stuff doesn't happen overnight. The first time we saw any big money, I came to Ghana when I was 27. First time I saw money in my account that I thought I could use to buy a car, I was 43. So that's how long it takes. It's not a 2-day affair unless you're doing drug deals. Even that one, I'm sure you go to jail a few times. So it's not a 9-day wonder. You have to work at it and build on what you create. You build and build and build. So people know you for this. People know your character. Then they will entrust you with bigger things for which you will get paid more. So for the young people today, I need you to know that, it's not an overnight thing. It can be a rocky road, especially in our parts of the world. Institutions are weak. There'll be assholes along the way. They'll get in your way. it's okay. We work around them. You don't get fixated on an idiot. Idiots are temporary. You work around them. We've seen them come and go. We are always here. As long as you stay on the right side of the law and you keep going. And you work very hard. And for the young people also, networking. People think that when they go to school and they get a qualification, that's the end. That's not the end at all. That's the beginning. You have to understand, everybody likes to do business and to work with people who they like, people who they find desirable. So you have to make friends, smile a lot, be nice with everybody, even sometimes be nice with your enemies, people who don't like you. You have to work at getting them to like you. What you need to know is that, I'll say it in two categories. If you're running an organization, the person who's going to sign the check to give you the contract must like you. If they don't like you, they will give the contract to their friend who is less competent than you, and that friend will subcontract you. Because everybody knows that in the course of the execution of some work, there can be conflict. You need to know that the person you're working with, if there is conflict, you can still work with him. You can still be nice to each other. You can work through it. That is key. The quality of the work is secondary. The person has to be rational, ethical, etc., etc. So as a company, you have to, if you're representing your company, you have to be nice to a lot of people. That's how you'll get contracts. Even if you're working in an organization, everybody has to like you. Your boss has to think you're a very positive person. You're the person who is not watching the clock, will go out of your way. If there's an emergency on Saturday, you are the one they should call. You should offer yourself for that. And running SOFTribe, I've always run a technical team with a bunch of young people. I've groomed a lot of them. Maybe 50% of the people, the programmers in the market, maybe a couple of years ago, were people I personally trained because I taught the programmers. And SOFTribe produced a lot of people for that reason. These are some of the skills that I trained them with. I got a lot of people, 50% or 60% of them ended up as good people. There's some people who just have bad upbringing from home. So after a few years, they can't take the training anymore. They're just thieves. They will steal the software and go and connive with a client to try and moonlight in the night and so on. And that kind of thing. It's okay, fine. That's what they've chosen to do with their life. People think corruption and a lack of ethics, it can pay. I argue it doesn't pay. If you are a thief, you have a problem. The person who you are stealing from, he doesn't have a problem. You robbed him once. The next day you are still a thief. Think about it. No investor will put money in a thief. No rich person will business partner with a thief. If you're a thief, it's like you've got HIV. It's a problem. You will only survive temporarily in a rough environment. As soon as things normalize, nobody wants to work with you. I don't know who on this call would want to work with somebody who is a criminal or who doesn't have ethics. One of the reasons why I may be considered successful to some degree is that I do business with people. They know I won't steal their money. They know I'm reasonable. That is an asset. It's not a liability. And they say, oh, Herman, you're too soft. If this person tries to steal my software, the thing I'll do to him. One has to be kind, one has to be reasonable, one has to be positive, one has to be firm. You can't be stupid. But you do everything by the book. So people know that they can do business with you. I have sold lands in the bush to people in America. 20 years, they've never seen the land. They've paid me money 20 years ago. They are sure I will not steal the land. They're sure I won't say I forgot. They're sure I won't say they didn't come, so I sold it. This is an asset, not a liability. It's a big asset. The rich people in the world, they don't like doing paperwork. They don't like looking over people's shoulders. They don't like having to manage to make sure they're not cheated. It is much easier. I'm here. Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, perfect. Thank you. Welcome back.
I'm back, yeah. Okay, so where was I? I've forgotten. Ethics. So ethics are very important. Can everybody hear me still?
Yes, we can.
You can hear me. So ethics, very, very important. Hard work, very important. Nice guy, very important. You have to be a cool person. Everybody likes you, and that makes money. And another important thing is you have to be able to think out of the box. You shouldn't just be there and think that that's how it's done, so that's how it's done. Always try to come up with new ideas. And keep your eye on the ball. When I used to there was a Nigerian lady who used to work with me, one of the programmers I trained when I was younger. And we worked with a Middle Eastern client. They were very sexist. When she would speak to them, she was the project head, and she was the head programmer for that project. When she would speak to them, they would answer to me or any other man, even her juniors who she had taken. And she used to get frustrated. I kept telling her, listen, if they have a cultural problem and they can't deal with women, keep your eye on the ball. You are not part of their family. They have a problem. You don't have a problem. Just do your work and keep your eye on the dollar bill. Your bonuses are coming from this work. So she ended up being head of technology for MTN in Nigeria. Every time I see her, she tells me, "Hey Herman, do you remember I used to be so confused and so angry when I was younger?
Yeah.
Kept telling me, keep my eye on the dollar bills."
Not that problem.
Tell them the guy has a problem. He should go and ride a camel. That's his problem. we are here for money. We are doing our work.
Yeah, I know so. Not think.
And we did very, very well. So here are some of the pointers that I want to give the kids. Have I spoken for 20 minutes now?
You just about. But yeah, I mean, you can go a couple extra minutes and then we'll open it up for questions.
Okay. Now, last thing I'll say also is that, as I said, think out of the box, innovative. Our school system is such that it kills two things in us. It kills innovation because they say, just study and pass. What the teacher wrote, do it. So it kills that. So you're not taught to be creative. And then also you're taught to be studious. So you're always studying. You're not out there learning new things. So what happens is that a lot of people, when I train programmers, because that's cutting edge. You have to go out and deliver. This is what I noticed also. These two things are a big impediment in our way. People wait for instructions. They don't think for themselves. They don't question. Culturally also, some of our homes are very brutal. Father says this is how it's done. Why is it done that way? Knock on your head. You will never ask again for the rest of your life. It's not healthy. We're competing with people in the world who are brought up to challenge, ask questions, innovate, think out of the box. We are very sharp here, but you can be turned into a hard drive where you can just memorize things and take instructions. You can't compete with a hard disk. That's not what human beings were brought on this planet for. We're brought on this planet to have fun. Our job is to design systems and create things that allow us free time. It's also important that when I say networking is critical. You have to go out and meet people and get new ideas and debate people and not be set in your ways, etc., etc. These are very, very important things. So 1, network. 2, be ethical. 3, work hard. 4, think out of the box. These are the 4 things I'll leave you with. And then 5, be patient. This shit doesn't happen overnight. You have to be patient. If you go too quickly, you will crash. When I think back now, the success I was looking for when I was 30, if somebody had put $1 million in my hands when I was 30, I would not have had the experience to manage. I would have wasted it. I mean, I have gone to jail and somebody would be jacking me for $1 million. I needed the maturity to understand how to manage bigger things. And it takes time. Thankfully, money making also takes time. It is only when you're in your 40s or something or 50s, you become a director. Then you have the maturity to think like a director, to do director things. Otherwise, you will crash the company you're running. And there are anomalies, people who are lucky to be sharp enough to do this in their 20s and so on. But broadly, it takes 10 to 20 years to get where you want to get. And that's just the way it is. I remember when I came, one of the people who mentored me was Eddie Annan. Eddie Annan told me, you will not see any money till you're in your 40s. I said, Eddie Annan, I respect you very much, but you're a good businessman, but you're from the old school. I am in IT. It's a new industry, young people. I'll find a way to do it. He was right. The first time I saw money, I was 43. He was right. I went back and told him, sir, how did you know? He said, man, especially in Ghana, people are conservative. Nobody will give you responsibility beyond a certain point under a certain age. I'm glad to say it is changing now. It's getting to be a younger age. In my time, it was in the 40s. I hope now it's in the 30s. But one just has to be patient. Your time will come when all your classmates are in the positions where they can help you. You just have to wait till you get there. You can't cut any deal with your friend's father. He will just not trust you. So I think I'll end here. And then if you have any questions.
Herman, thank you so much. That was actually really, really good. And I think there are a number of things. You know, there's my paper with my notes on the front and the back.
I'm ready.
I'll share a few of the things that jumped out at me. But in the meantime, it's now we'll take questions for the next 15 or 20 minutes. So if anybody has a question, please raise your hand. I'll unmute you so that you can speak, or you can put it in the chat and I will read it out as well. But Herman, in the chat, well, a lot of them are coming to me privately, but people are really they enjoyed what you said, and they said, thank you so much for sharing. So I'll start with John Bosco, who has his hand up. 1 second. John Bosco, I am trying to unmute you. So please now unmute yourself and ask your question.
Thank you very much. My name is John Bosco. Actually, Honorable Chinery-Hesse, Herman, we heard you so much, but one of the barriers you couldn't actually spell out in your presentation was like the area or where you live. Some of us have all these ambitions and actually trying to pull out, but the environment in which we find ourselves actually set as a barrier to us. So in that case, what actually can you do to get yourself from that setback? Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm guessing that you're talking about the neighborhood where you live. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, no problem at all. I would say this, that you are even lucky. In our time, there was no internet. The neighborhood could be identified and could be a negative. I argue that if you have a neighborhood challenge, no problem. There's the internet. If I needed to have something delivered, and there was a company that had 5 motorcycles signed up that was doing deliveries of food, I don't care where you live. Me, the customer, I can be living in Cantonment. I don't know that somebody living in Ashiaman or Awoshi or Agbogbloshi is the one who is doing my deliveries. You are lucky there's the internet. Keep your eye on the internet biased businesses and you will be perfectly fine. You guys don't understand how lucky you are to be in the internet age. I remember very well, I made a modification to some software. My business partner took it to Nigeria. This was in those days. He did the installation in Bauchi, plane to Lagos, another plane to Kano, bus to Bauchi in northern Nigeria. He turned on the thing and he sent me a text and said, Herman, the software is not working. I said, how? He said, I think the last modification you made just before I packed it and took it along is the problem. I looked at it and found the error. I put an error in it by mistake. I fixed it within 1 minute. He had to come back on the bus and on the plane and so on. So arrive in Accra, pick up the modification, which I had fixed in 1 minute, go back to Bauchi and go and work. Geography was an issue. Location was an issue. Disaster. When the internet came, we had the same problem. He was in Kenya doing a presentation. He sent me a message and said, the software is not loading. I said, wait, I'm looking at it. We were working on like a WhatsApp type of chat. I made a modification. What he said, the people are sitting in front of me. I'm about to start the presentation. There are 50 people in the room. So don't worry. In a matter of a minute, I have sent the correction to him. He turned it on. He sent me back, thumbs up, finished. This is the difference between then and now. As for you, you don't have a problem. Just keep your eye on internet e-commerce businesses. There are lots of them. Thankfully, our country is underdeveloped. Underdevelopment means plenty of opportunity for development. If you are in America, Coca-Cola is already there. You can't compete. Microsoft is already there. You can't compete. Thankfully, this is Ghana. This is the problems Ghanaians have. Try and find an internet or technology-based solution that doesn't require somebody coming to your house, and you will move to complement yourself in 5 years. This is my submission.
Thank you, Herman. Okay, there are a couple questions that came in the chat. I'll read them out and then we'll go back to those who have their hands up. So someone asked, okay, one second. So Gadiel Brian says, Herman, please, what are your daily routines that make you successful? And I can read out a second question, or you want to answer that one first?
I'll answer this quickly.
Okay.
I watch a lot of documentaries. I make a lot of friends. Sorry. I make a lot of friends. I hang out a lot. I meet, and I watch who I hang out with. I don't hang out with people who are just talking about soccer in church every day. I hang out, we talk about serious things. For example, last night, I spent a couple of hours with my friend who used to be a U.S. ambassador. She gave me the whole analysis of the U.S. election, what it means for America. The serious people. If they are not your friends, go and make them your friends. And making friends is not what God gives you. You can target. I can decide that I want Databank boss to be my friend. No problem. I find out where he goes, what he talks about, who are his friends, and I go and find a way to force myself into his crowd. It's very important. He will explain to me how financial services work in Ghana, if it is something I want to know. But generally, if you hang out with serious people, hang out a lot, do a lot of documentaries, do a lot of arguing and debating. It's very healthy. I have this opinion. Let me go and try it on my friends. My business ideas, I go and try it on my friends. And they'll look at me and tell me, Herman, you're talking total nonsense. What you're saying will never work. That is how I verify before I go to the market. My friends are open enough with me to tell me you're talking nonsense. You know, I'll go and get a drink. You're just crazy today. It's very important to engage with people. You learn a lot. So every day you learn something. Every day you learn something. And as I say, the church is fine and football is fine and politics is fine. But that's not what's going to change your life. You have to actually learn about serious things. Your friend who works on a water project in the water region. So ask him. So how do you guys know where there's water when you're going to drill a borehole? Well, we have some machine that we, I see, how does it work? These are the conversations we should all be having, not these casual conversations, gossiping about people and so on. It's fun for 5 minutes, but after that, it doesn't help you. You'll be poor, unless, of course, you want to be a novelist. You listen to plenty of gossip so you can write a book or make a film. That's different. But if you're just doing it for just to be the consumer, then it's fine. You don't need money. That's why you're doing it. When I'm very rich, maybe I'll become a gossip. But for now, our country is behind, and I need money. So I need to go out, meet people, learn new things every day, and think about how to put them together to come up with ideas which I can sell to make some money. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from Kweku, who says he's very grateful for this meeting. He holds an MSc in accounting and finance. He's 30 plus and recently made up his mind to divert into software engineering, programming to be specific. He would like to know what advice you would have for him.
Okay, I'll tell him this. Some of it is good, some of it is bad. Programming is a young people's game. I programmed till my 30s. And the last time I programmed, I was my 38 or something, then I stopped. The technology is changing so quickly that coming from accounting is something which I've discovered by working with all the accountants on the accounting system. You learn the accounting once, you understand it, and you get more experience. Programming is different. The languages are changing, everything is changing. I don't know that it's a good idea in your 30s to be going into programming per se. Also, I think that programming, you see, a lot of people think programmers, I used to be head of programming at SOFTribe. A lot of people think programmers are Bill Gates. Bill Gates is not a programmer. the glamour you are seeing is not with the programmers. There's something like the architect, and then there's a bricklayer. The programmers are the bricklayers. They will build the house. Where the guy who's asking the question, his experience and his exposure, I think, yes, he should get an idea of how programming works, but he may be better suited to be the person who, the designer, he designs the product, hands it to the programmers, he inspects to make sure it's been done properly, and then he sells it. Because of his accounting exposure, understanding programming is not bad, but he will be much better at coming up with products because he knows what the need is in the market. When I used to program 16 hours a day. You don't have time to do anything. You don't have time to learn anything. We have to employ people to free me up, to go to the beer bar, to go and chat with people, to get contracts, and also to learn what people need and what their complaints are. To come back to the programming team to tell them, we're going to do another product now. What product is this? This is for the poultry farming industry. My friends have told me there's a big gap. They can't monitor their feed. Let's put something together and go and make a presentation to them and see whether we can get a product and a contract out of that. I think that kind of role, it will be better suited for that. I don't know, but this is what I think.
Thank you very much, Herman. Kojo is sitting beside me saying he agrees. He agrees.
Completely. I'm sold out 110%.
Hey, my brother.
We'll take a question now from Andrew. Andrew, please go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm very, very, very much inspired by Professor Herman. I would want to find out, you have not spoken a bit about where family and marriage and how that works with the very tight career schedule. You know, the world has become very realistic, and today I'm almost hitting my 40s. I've not found my grounds yet. I can see that in including the concluding part of your presentation, you spoke about how you would not see the money until after your 40s, or somewhere later than that. Should we hold marriage and family life till after that, or it's possible to put the two together? I've also been following some millionaire clubs, and I see the discussion about, look, put family and marriage and everything at bay, focus on your goals, and when you become financially stable, think about it. What do you say, please? Thank you.
I think you have asked a champion question. You are completely right. You are completely right. This is a big challenge. I happen to be quite non-traditional. What you are saying to an extent is right. When you are fighting your way and trying to come up, you really have less time than one would expect for family. It's just the way it is. In my experience, you can't do both. If we need to have some contract with Nestle, then when the Nestle MD's mother dies, and the funeral is a 1-week funeral in Damongo, then I'm going to Damongo. Sorry. It's a problem. Because if I don't go to Damongo, he will not be friends with me to where he will take a gamble on some product idea that I've sold to him and pay me with Nestle's money to go and experiment at one of their factories. He has to know me and trust me. He also has to want to do me a favor. And to do that, in my 30s and 40s, I used to run 2 nightclubs. I used to own Flavors in Osu. And I used to own Taboo in Tema. They gave me bags under my eyes, but they led me to make a lot of money. But my kids would see me 6 hours a week. And my wife's same. We're just busy. When I wake up in the morning, my wife is gone. When she comes back from work, I'm gone. Unfortunately, it is a big, big risk. Not only that, your question is extremely good. Now, this is a problem. Let me tell you something. For women especially, you have to be very strong. Unfortunately, given history, men seem to be in charge of the money. As a woman, lots of the men are sexist, so you have to navigate that. Then also, lots of the husbands are sexist. They will not let you go out and find money. Then the same husbands, when they succeed because they've been going out and finding money, they come and bully you because they have the money. Then when they finish, they also go and marry some younger girl because they have the money and you have no choice. So it's a very murky area that I don't know that I have clarity. What I know is that it is very difficult to do both. Something has to give. In my case, I didn't see my children much. What I told them was, don't worry. When I'm older, when you're older, you will enjoy. So allow me to go out and look for money. And it is because my parents were the same. My parents were both working and both successful. And so I grew up with the house help and my grandmother and so on taking care of me, and aunties and uncles. And so my parents went out and worked. But I must say, when we were ready to go to university, we had the option of going to university in America. Our friends whose mothers and fathers were sitting with them at dinner table every night, their parents didn't have the money. They didn't, you see what I mean? So I don't know. It's all choices. I don't know what's right and what's wrong. I'm quite happy that my parents chose the place, the path they chose, because my parents then were in a position to get international job when Ghana became very hard. And I spent my holidays in my parents' houses with Kofi Annan types at the dinner table because my parents were successful. This taught me, it gave me the exposure that I needed to be able to do a CNN interview casually without preparation and that kind of thing. So on the social side, it helped me a lot that my parents, as I told you before, I had to go to high school for 1 year before I went to university in America because in Ghana, I didn't do very well in school because my parents were not home. But that's just the price I had to pay. I don't resent them for it. I thank them for the path they brought. In later life, I have benefited so much. My international network, my ability to engage anybody, my luck, I don't fear anybody. I can talk to anybody. I can speak multiple languages. And I learned all that because my parents left us at home and went and found money and went and found success. The success ended me up in neighborhoods across the world where the children I'm playing with are ambassadors' children. These ended up forming my network. So I don't have a clear answer. I'm certain that if you leave it to me, I did it again. I focused on my work to get property, exposure, and so on for my children in later life. And there's a casualty, but it's a decision you have to make. Will you go this way or will you go that way? When my daughter, I was able to afford to send, because I worked so hard, I was able to send my daughter to sixth form in a very good sixth form school in England because I could afford it. While she was there, when Papa comes for holidays in England, I'm living with one of my millionaire friends. Her house is a 26 million pound house. That's where I live. When people are going to live with their cousins in some ghetto house, I have made myself so international that I can go and live with them. But there's a cost. When my children were younger, I didn't spend enough time with them. But when they were getting older, when things were getting better for me, it switched. Now they are getting good contact. My daughter came and stayed weekend with me. She went back to school in England, went back to her sixth form. They said, "What did you do for a weekend?" When she said where she was staying, the teacher told the whole class she's lying, that she visited the place. It's a listed building. You couldn't have stayed there. She said, "Oh, my father knows the owner." So no problem. The whole class was looking at her like, "Hey, you know people in England." This is the benefit of me going out and meeting people and not hanging out with my kids as much as I should have. But here's the benefit on the other side. So it's a choice, but it's a very, very, very important question you've asked. I don't know whether the marital structure as we have it today will lend itself to the I mean, if you know abroad, like we don't do divorce casually. In the developed world, they do divorce for lunch. And I think it's because, you know, it's not completely compatible with success and seeking success, unless you and your wife are in the same business. You know what I mean? And even then, there are issues of you and I, we are doing business. We need to trust each other. If I get the impression that everything I tell you, you will tell your wife, I would watch you carefully. You would watch me carefully too, because you don't know my wife. You don't know whether she's friends with your enemy. So it's very, very complicated and very murky. And then for women with a sexism quotient, it's even more complicated. So it's something that one needs to think hard through and talk about it to friends and so on, and have your own plan, because it's really, really murky. I think I'll stop here.
Thank you very much, Herman. You definitely answered that question. I'll read a couple from the chat, then we'll take a few more hands up. We will not be able to get through all the questions that are here, but someone wanted to know, he says he joined the meeting quite late. This is Deborah, and she joined the meeting quite late and learned a lot, but she wants to know, how do you cope with an overbearing boss who won't let you learn anything or is not ready to teach you anything new in a career you are trying to build as a young graduate?
Did you say your boss? Did you say boss?
Yes, so the overbearing boss won't let her learn anything and is not ready to teach her anything new in her career that she's trying to build as a young graduate.
I say switch companies immediately.
Yeah. Wow.
You don't have time to waste. There's some loser blocking your way. Just go and get another job. It's a terrible place to be. What if you stay too long? It will make you bitter, and it will make you unpalatable to a new boss that you will get who is not an asshole. So I think find another job and move sideways immediately.
Thank you very much. Then Frederica says, thank you very much. Great presentation. She really learned a lot. There's another question from Ayei, who says she's also learned, who has said that they've really learned a lot and they've loved the presentation. The question is, what are some networking tips since you've stressed so much on networking?
Constantly find people who you want to be like and find a way to be their friends. I will give you an example. When I was younger, I'll give you an example. Somebody like Spielgabra. When I was younger, I thought, oh, that's a cool guy. He's sharp. I hear him speaking on TV and so on and so forth. One day I was receiving an award and he gave me the award. I whispered to him that, you're my mentor. Can I have your number? And he gave me his number. Since then, we've been very good friends. In fact, his son used to work for me. And I'll go to his office. He was a minister then. I'll go to his office, go and sit there, find some stupid reason to go and ask him some questions. Just a reason to go and say, so what's the future of this? But why do you want to know that? Well, I think when the software industry develops, it will have something to do with the spectrum of radio or some nonsense question, just to find a way. Then after a while, when he's having a barbecue at his house in Fete, he will call me, hello, Herman, come over, because I'm also fun. His friends enjoy. There's some young guy there who make plenty jokes, who happily serve their drinks, happily give a chair to one of his older friends and tell them stories about the young people. You have to actually go and get it. The world owes us nothing. Nothing. We came into this world. Everything we have to go and earn. If you want something, you have to go and get it. If you sit around, it will not rain on you. So identify the people who you like or you want to be like, or you need something from, and go and historically, I've been known to date people I want something from. So you're competing with the world. They are also doing the same thing. You have to go out and get it. So, that's it.
Oh, Herman.
I agree. You didn't add go to the nightclub too. You should have added go to the nightclub.
Yes, go to the nightclub. I own the nightclub. That's plenty funerals.
Yes. Oh, and you know, Kojo goes to a lot of funerals.
Yep, he has
a
to.
lot.
A
lot. So I'll give you 2 more questions from the chat, then we'll go back quickly to other people. So somebody wants to know, what is your general North Star in life? And then the other question is, what books do you read and what are your favorite books?
Okay, I'll answer the. I didn't hear the first one. I'll answer the second one, then you repeat the first one. I'll answer the second one.
Sure.
As I mentioned, I don't actually read much. I do documentaries. I watch documentaries every day, listen to news, debates with sensible people. That's where I get my information from. I try to hang out with people who are sharp. And there are plenty around. People who have exposure, people from different countries, people from, I'm sitting in my house in the bush today. 4 of my friends are coming for the weekend. My friend Sheila, she's a pilot. She's from Kenya. She flies the Tamale flight. She will probably pass here later tonight. We'll all come and hang out. Tomorrow morning, we'll all eat breakfast. A bunch of my friends are coming. We'll have we'll make the jokes and so on, but we'll also have very nice debates. Last time we were here, my friend, the pilot, was telling us how as a small girl, she was in her 20s, she was making flights into Somalia, and how on one of the trips, when they landed, the place was so dangerous that the station manager gave her and her co-pilot a gun. He said, if Al-Shabaab comes, I said, but can we shoot them with this gun? I said, no, the gun is for you to shoot the co-pilot, and then you shoot yourself afterwards, because what they'll do to your body, you won't like. These are the kinds of stories we are learning from people. I'm understanding how piloting works. I have friends who are in all kinds of industries, friends from all over the world. You have to go out and get this information, talk to people, and watch documentaries and read serious books. I've never watched a Nigerian movie beginning to end. I have never. It's never happened before. The radio stations that are there, some of them are talking, they're making stupid jokes. They just are not even funny anymore. You know what? It's so bad. When I watch movies, it looks very fake, because I watched so many documentaries over the last 20 years. Serious stuff. The Ghana's independence, the Nkrumah year, the Africa Must Unite. I'm watching serious things, the Galapagos, religion versus faith. Faith versus reason, debate, Richard Dawkins, the British Empire, history of the space program. These are the things we should be learning about. When you go to a cocktail at a big man's house, you can't go and then they ask you, so in Ghana, during the plebiscite, you are Ghanaian. How come Transwater Togola joined Ghana? I don't know. Finish, out. Nobody who you tell that when you are Ghanaian, nobody who you tell that when you are Ghanaian will trust you to give you a contract or a job to do anything. You have sounded ignorant on general knowledge matters. There are 4 people in the room. You are the Ghanaian. They are asking you that some part of Ghana used to be a German colony. Tell us something about it. I don't know. Finish. You think the next day, if you go and sit in front of them, then look, I have this project that I want to do. So they say, who is talking? That idiot. He didn't even know this thing. Even in the room, it was the German guy who had to explain to him what the relationship was between Germany and Ghana. He doesn't even know anything. They will smile with you nicely. You will just not get the contract. They'll give it to the German guy. They'll take your proposal, I'll give it to the German guy. The German guy will get German funding and hire you. And every day he will say jump and you will say how high. That's it.
Thank you. So the question before was, what is your general North Star in life? So what guides you? What, I guess, motivates you?
The Pan-Africanism. I'm a proud African. I want Africa to progress. I care about our people. I feel like, given the little privilege I had growing up, I've had advantage, and I owe it to our people to make it happen. And so I feel like we are kind of the leaders, and we must try to set an example and work hard to benefit our society. And I feel like things I feel passionate about. I feel passionate about equality. Ghana is for all of us. Nobody should bully nobody. So I'm into that. I'm into Africa must unite. Africa must develop. I love science. I'm a passionate feminist. I think women and men should have the same rights. And I think to some degree, to a large extent, our society, the society and the global society in general has bullied women. I don't have any brothers, so I grew up with a girl. So I'm passionate about women's rights. What else? I like science. I like the global geopolitics. I'm passionate about Africa, so I look out for Africa. And I'm passionate also about evidence-based things, logic, rationality. I'm not too good at biases and we are against them, they are against us. It's a waste of energy. It's easier to, I'm very optimistic. I think people are intrinsically good. And we can always get, even for evil people, I think if they meet me and we talk small, they can become good people. This is my broad thinking in life. And I think there are lots of stupid people running around. But it's unfortunate. Their circumstances and their upbringing and their experiences may have led them to become so. I don't think they can be fixed. I think if you sit down with them and talk to them, and there's goodness in everybody. This is what I think. I'm not here to quarrel with anybody. I don't enjoy fighting with anybody. Let's live our lives. Let's enjoy. We're only here for a short time. And artificial intelligence is about to take all our jobs anyway. And so we should enjoy, end up with a semi-socialist artificial intelligence world where we are all enjoying, everybody's equal and everybody has. I think everybody should have. And that's it.
Thank you, Herman. So it's 11:14. So I'll take two last questions from Aaron and Janet, and then we'll wrap up your portion, do a few giveaways, then we'll move to Kojo's talk very quickly.
Okay.
So I'm at Aaron, can you unmute yourself, please, and ask your question?
All right. Thank you. Please, can you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you very well.
All right. All right. Thank you, Mr. Herman Chinery-Hesse, for having time and pouring your heart out to us. Like, I'm really, really grateful enough. I've really learned a lot. And I want to know this, like, looking at the challenges that's going on, like, come our way constantly from family, from friends, like the communities we find ourselves in, like, what should be our mindset going up? What should be our mindset to like, in order to not to entertain thoughts of giving up, like things just come our way and you feel like giving up, and like you've really gone far and you're not seeing any improvements. And secondly, I wanted to touch on the networking bits. I think someone asked that question and you gave us a few tips. So with regards to the networking, like what limits can we go? Like what should we really probe when networking? And like we should know our limits. At what limits should we stop? And finally, I'm into like pursuing business administration. And like you rightly said, I'm also like a fan of IT. Like I do IT as a hobby. Professional wise, what course can I pursue to attach to my business admin that I'm pursuing? Thank you very much.
Okay. So the first question is actually never give up. So the first question, never give up.
Okay.
Okay. And the second thing is, you said, where do you stop in terms of your networking? Don't stop. Just go. The people who you want to know, the people who you want to be like, force yourself to go and be like them. Don't let the family things disturb you. It's very important. I mean, I don't know, culturally, what I'm saying may sound a little offensive, but there's a time and a place for everything. At your age now, you need to make it. You are most useful to your family if when you are 40, you have $1 million and can sponsor your sister's daughter through school. You see what I mean? And send her to Harvard. These are the kinds of issues that you need to focus on. Your last question was, remember the last question?
The last question is about, so I'm pursuing business admin and
that's an important one. Yeah. In today's world, I argue that we can't tell where the job market is going. We can't tell. for that reason, specializing too much, I don't know. I don't feel good about it. I think if you've got some education already, you can read, you can write, you can think. I think at this stage now, another piece of paper may not be the way to go, given the way our economy is going. If you ask me, spending time, for example, going to Ghana Customs website, finding out what Ghana imports, and finding a way using the internet/mobile phone to compete with some of these things that we import. With your knowledge as you have now, you can do that. That is the future. It's not about papers and papers and papers. If, for example, we were having electricity problems, it may be more useful for you to go and do a 6 month solar power project course in China or in Nigeria than to go and get another degree. Because maybe you're going to work in solar, so you have an understanding of the industry. It may be useful if you want to go into e-commerce, to go and learn how to write apps, or to go and learn, just so you get a background and exposure in something totally different. It may be useful to go to the Dizengoff people. They may have some course, maybe some agents, some paid agency is sponsoring. You go and learn how to do greenhouse farming. You may become the biggest exporter of some exotic flower from Ghana into Europe over the next 3 years. You know, you never know. I'm not seeing the future as a traditional corporate future. I'm seeing the future as more people like you running very interesting boutique businesses, sitting at home, coordinating everything using the internet. So this is my gut feel. I can't say you are wrong, but my gut feel is that rather take this time to stop. Try and take two or three small businesses that you want to explore. Go and make the friends who can help you or who are already in those businesses. Have conversations with them, get to understand the businesses. If there's any further education you need to do, get the education relating to where you want to go specifically. Nothing long, short course, 3 months, short course, 4 days, just to get exposure. And don't forget, the internet exists today. Anybody can go online and go and learn. All the stuff I do today. All the stuff I do today.
Favorite button.
Yes, you go to the internet, go to YouTube. You will learn so much you won't believe it. You talk to the person who's got the degree, you think, what degree has he got? The guy sounds so stupid. So this is my advice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Herman. And the last question we will take is from Janet. So Janet, please unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, thank you so much for the amazing session. And the 5 pointers that you've given us, I find it very useful. So I'm grateful that you could share and talk about your personal stories as well, which are very inspiring. My question is, so from everything that I've heard today, I can really tell that your networking skills are top notch. And so I just wanted to ask, how do you get to the point where you can, be so close to someone that they get, even to the point where you can even get invited for a funeral? Like, what is the conversation starter? For instance, I meet Kojo Addae-Mensah, who I would, I'm dreaming to meet this person, and I meet him in one of your nightclubs. What will be that conversation starter that will make him interested in me? What are some of the things that,
Very good question. Okay, what do you do at the moment?
I just graduated
university. What did you study?
Business administration.
Very good. So you, at your age now, you are sharper than me because you're younger. You just come out of school. You will have statistics on the gaps in our economy, the growth areas in our economy. If they didn't teach you in school, they've given you at least the background to acquire that information. Go online, go and find out. If you, for example, became my go-to person, every time I say, I was thinking, my friend hinted me that the business in Ghana, the coconut husk is a good business. I must feel like, wait, let me call her. If I call, she's a small girl, she will be sharp, she understands these things. When I call her, she'll say, Herman, give me 30 minutes. Okay, have you got a pen? Great. The coconut husk industry there were 3 attempts. There were companies that set up in the Western region, but they've closed down now. I'll find out why they closed down. I'll come back to you in 2 hours with that. But it's very interesting. Apparently, Britain consumes so and so and so. Most of the exports come from. We have more coconut than them. I checked this kind of skill set. We are too old to be doing this kind of research as quickly as you could. We're not as sharp as you anymore. We've just got experience. That's all we've got. Mm-hmm. So if you met Addae-Mensah, you know what his passions are. And you can find out by listening to him on radio, on TV, and internet. You know what his passions are. When you meet him at a conference or something, you say, oh, sir, you're one of my mentors. Sir, I particularly liked what you said about so and so and so on the TV show last time. It's interesting that people don't understand it. Sir, do you realize that the way you said it, Krapo, it's not completely correct? What do you mean, young lady? Oh, sir, what you said was relevant in 1975. It's no longer the case. Have you read the so-and-so study? What study is that? Do you know that, sir, we should meet. I'll explain it to you. You know that since then, this has happened, that has happened, that has happened. Your point is even more valid, just that you didn't have the so-and-so and so. But it's very interesting. You are my hero. Sir, can I come and see you sometime? Yes, my card. Done. Finish.
Would you like to respond?
Wow.
Yeah, you're
you guys.
Herman.
Yeah.
I, Kojo here. I'm even wowed. I'm so your answer is perfect.
Thank you. But you practice this every day yourself.
I know, I do, Charlie, I do. And you know that the young people listening to us think networking is about trying to get somebody to do you whom you know kind of thing. No, you don't even have to be the son or daughter of an ambassador to be able to get this network thing.
Correct.
You know what Herman is saying. Look, I don't. I'm lost for words, but it's perfect. And Janet, you are not coming to Kojo trying to raise your hips and your skirt. You are coming with your intellect. That is what he's up. Yeah.
And a smile. Intellect and a smile.
Yes, that's all. You girls think that you need to come with your hips and your skirt raised. No, it turns me off, actually.
It's not necessary at all.
I'm done. It's
okay. I'm left a bit speechless by those answers. Janet, I believe you got your answer. And
perfect.
Herman, thank you so much for everything. We're really, really grateful. From all the comments that have come through in the chat, people are just blown away by the conversation and the responses and all of that. So I'm really grateful for your time. And we will now just do a few quick questions and give away a few prizes. Then we'll move to Kojo, who will start his point. So Herman, if you are...
I'm finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
In the last 10 years, I've stopped mentoring kids.
Really?
I should start again. I've been living in Sierra Leone, so I do it in Sierra Leone, not in Ghana. I should start doing it in Ghana.
Now we're on Zoom. We don't care where you are.
That is true. You are right. I should start doing technology. You are right.
Yes. So then I'll be in touch with you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, Herman. Thank you so much. Take care.
Okay.
Bye. Okay, well, I trust that everybody found that part really, really insightful. I know I did. I mean, Frederick, I see your comment and you're right. At our age, in this generation, there's no excuse not to be successful. John Bosco, yes, it was very inspirational. And I will pass on all the comments to him as well. But I'm really, really grateful for your participation. So we just have a few prizes to give away. Then Kojo will come up and speak, and then we'll call it a day. So what I will ask everyone to do, let me just make sure all hands are lowered. I'm going to ask a question, and the first person that raises their hand, don't raise your hand yet, But the first person that raises their hand, I'll call on you. If you can answer correctly, the first prize we're giving away is 20 CDs airtime. And so I'm going to ask a question, raise your hand, and then we'll see whether you can win or not. So question 1 is, where can you open a Databank mutual fund account digitally? So where can you open a Databank mutual fund account digitally? Not walking into our branch, or digitally. So I'm going to call on Mr. Morrison first. Let's see, what are all the options that you have? Please unmute yourself and give us your answer.
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon. You can do that through the short code. The short code, which is *6110#.
Repeat the short code again, please.
*6100#.
Okay. Is there any other way that you can open an account digitally?
Yes, please.
How else?
Please, you said?
Oh, I'm looking for another one. There are 2 others. Oh, Mr. Morrison. Okay, because you are the first person, I'll still give it to you. So he's absolutely correct. You can open an account through *6100#. Mr. Morrison, I don't know your first name, but just put your name, full name in the chat with your phone number, and then we'll get in touch with you after this. But you just won 20 CDs airtime. And the other ways that you can open an account are online through Databank's website or through our mobile app as well. Okay, I have another question, and this one is for a 50 CD gift voucher. So if everyone can just lower their hands really quickly, then I will ask the question and you can raise your hands again. So please, just one more hand to go. Perfect. Okay, 1 second. All right, so question is, Mr. Mensah wants to start investing for his son's education. Which Databank product would be ideal for him? So the client wants to start investing for his son's education. Which product is ideal? I will start with Nana Afulsego. Please go ahead, unmute yourself, give us your answer.
If Mr. Mensah wants to invest in his son's education, he can try EduFund.
Perfect. You just won a 50 CD gift voucher. Thank you very much, Nana. And I've got, okay, so put your name and phone number in the chat just to make sure that we have your details. And I'll ask everybody to lower their hands one more time. I've got one more question before we move on. So the okay, I'm waiting for the hands. Final, okay, I still have 5 hands that are up. Okay, 2 hands, 1 hand to go down. Okay, so last question for this section is, oh, Benjamin, how many branches does Databank have? So how many branches does Databank have? The prize for this one is a 1-hour virtual mentorship session. So 1-hour virtual mentorship session. I will call on Joshua. Joshua, how many branches does Databank have? Or how many locations does Databank have?
That should be 19.
Excellent, Joshua. Thank you very, very much. So, okay, just again, put your details in the chat and we will get in touch with you after the presentation. All right, so now I am going to actually hand over to Kojo, who will take you through 10 tips to becoming a millionaire. And we're just going to, just give me a moment while we share the screen. All right.
Hi, everybody, and good morning again. I honestly was very inspired myself by Herman's presentation. So I actually allowed for him to overrun his time. And I'd like to let you guys know that, you know, most of you are students, I'm assuming, or just graduated. When we were on campus and growing up and were students, we never had these opportunities. So seriously, I would encourage you to take the tips and the comments that Herman has made very, very, very seriously. I mean, I wouldn't have minded even leaving all the time to him, because it's so important that you guys learn this. But what I have for you as well, I think is extremely important. And anytime I get into the campuses, I tell people that if I knew what I know now when I was 18, 19, 20 years, I would already be a millionaire right now and probably would have retired. But it's not too late, and you have the privilege of hearing some of these tips. I will encourage you to take them very, very seriously, and never think that because you're a student, you can't start the journey. You can always start. And I'll let you know the power of time and let you know why it's so important that you start this journey. So I will go off video for now, just to improve the experience, and then go through my slides. Right, so my first point is that patience is more important than intelligence when it comes to investing. And it will be a common theme that is likely going to run through, but I will refer to what Herman said, if you recall, that he started his first job at 27, and it wasn't until when he was about 40 that he felt he had enough money that he could use to actually buy a car. Most of you are always in a hurry. Building wealth takes time, and it takes effort as well, and requires a lot of patience. And you are always quick to point to Mr. A or Mr. B, who is 32 years old and is already riding a Pajero or is riding a Range Rover. And so why can't you also do that? And you are always looking for ways to cut corners to do it. It doesn't work that way. You have seen the 32-year-old riding a Range doesn't mean that they did some work and got it. It could be an inheritance even. You never know how it happened. There are outliers there, there are exceptions, but we will teach you what has worked and works for people over the years. So please, it's not an overnight journey. It's a journey that really, really takes time. 2, a lot of you go into schemes that you have no clue about, but it's because a friend said, oh, this thing is good, so then you just jump into it. I'll restrict this slide to investing in I went on mute. Okay, somebody muted me, but it's fine. Let me continue with slide 2. So I'm going to restrict this to going into a company like Databank or any of our competitors to buy a product, or somebody tells you that, have you heard about this scheme? They said it's good, or when you put in 100 CDs in 2 weeks, you get 50,000 and stuff like that. And a lot of us get gullible and buy into it and start putting money into it. In fact, in recent times, I've come to pick up that since most of the financial institutions were shut down, a lot of these schemes are now going online, which is even more dangerous. And because most of the young ones are very, tech savvy, you get to meet some of these schemes, and then you jump onto it and you are losing money. You are not asking the right questions. We always say you need to really ask the right questions. Who is this company? Who is behind the company? Who are the regulators of the company? You know, so you may or may not know, some people think Databank is regulated by Bank of Ghana because we have bank at the end of our name. No, we are not. If you do the investigation, you realize that our regulator is the Securities and Exchange Commission. Sometimes people will lie to you that, oh, we are regulated, we have a license by so and so. Check it out, please. Don't allow somebody to tell you that this is good. So without you yourself checking, you've got to check what governance structures they have, what checks and balances they have. When somebody is offering you a return that is really, really high, you have to ask questions. How come they are able to generate such high returns? What is it that they are doing that others are not doing? Sometimes they'll lie to you and tell you, oh, we are online, so we don't have any overheads. We don't pay any electricity bill or anything, stuff like that, which, you know, on the face of it sounds logical. But hey, be very, very careful. Do your checks and make sure that where you are putting your money is a genuine place. Yes, and it's similar to what I was saying just a few minutes ago, because a lot of the time greed drives us. And because we are in a hurry, the greed comes in. You don't have the patience to take your time and build properly and slowly. So when you get greedy, that's when things get to you. And Warren Buffett has said, and those of you who don't know Warren Buffett can Google him, but he's one of the most astute investors, astute and successful investors of our time. And he says, be fearful when others are greedy. That's very, very true. But be greedy when others are fearful. And I am greedy in coming into a firm like a Databank, and people are saying, hey, are we sure that, you know, that is slow, sure, steady investment. That's where my greed comes. But it's not a fat greed, or I'm in a hurry kind of greed. No, anytime you're greedy, chances are that you're going to slip. 4, you may think that, okay, so 4, when you are investing, you always have to know what time frame that you are investing in. And sometimes, a lot of the time, people don't. In fact, people are almost always short-term minded, and it's not cool to always be short-term minded. And these are the 3 different categories that we usually would recommend. That the short-term is less than 3 years. We're always thinking even short-term as 3 months, and it's 3 months is too short. Your short-term time frame is less than 3 months. Your medium-term is 3 to 5. And long is over 5. In recent times, I'm beginning to redefine what I think is long term. I'm beginning to think long term is actually 10 years and medium term is actually 3 to 10 years. But for now, let's keep these 3 timelines in mind. And then you have to know your risk tolerance. In fact, this is one of the most important slides. A lot of us go into investments without asking ourselves the right questions and asking ourselves what our risk tolerances are. So you start an investment, you've not asked yourself the question, something is going wrong, and then suddenly you are panicking, and then you are taking wrong decisions. So this is just a rule of thumb. And you can ask yourself this question, that if you put in, say, 100 cedis into an investment, and your plan was to keep that investment for 5 years, but you went in after year 1, and you were told that your money has lost 10%, how would you feel? Are you going to be very concerned and decide that you are withdrawing everything immediately? Are you going to be concerned, but still you just keep it there? Or you will not be concerned at all because you are really in it for the long term? And what this means is that if you are immediately so concerned and you are in a rush to withdraw, ladies and gentlemen, your risk tolerance is very low. You are not to go into any potential risky investment, a volatile investment, and very quickly, I'll just, as an example, go into stocks and stuff like that, because stock markets go up and down. It can go lose a lot or it can gain a lot. If you are in the middle, then your risk tolerance is somewhat medium. You're a medium risk type investor. But if you're not concerned at all, then you have quite a decent risk tolerance, and usually you just can ride out the time. And sometimes this also comes with age. And so your risk tolerance is not a constant. As time goes on, it changes. So you always have to recheck with yourself what really your tolerance levels are. But normally, the younger you are, the higher your risk tolerance, because you have time to ride out the ups and downs of the investment. So these are the ups and downs that I was talking about. But hey, do not use your emotions to invest. You see that there are two graphs that I've put up. There's one with a successful investor, and then there's one with most investors. Now you see the successful investor is emotionless. I mean, there is the same emotion that is carrying throughout the various investment cycles, you know, but what most investors do is up there, where when things are good, oh, have you heard about this product? They say it's very good, it's earning high, then quickly they go in. Then suddenly when things are going bad, then they exit. They are unhappy with a red face there. Then they start hearing that, oh, the thing has started coming up again. Okay, then let me go. And you know, when you stop pulling deposit, withdraw, you will end up not earning anything. You will not be able to achieve your aim. Stay the course. Just determine your risk tolerance, determine your time frame, and stay your course and be steady. Trust me, you'll be successful that way. So I am now Databank specific on this slide, depending on what your risk tolerance is. So I'm going to just recommend some products for you. Now, if your risk tolerance is low, to the extreme left, we recommend M Fund, Eddy Fund Tier 1, some treasury bills and bonds. These are what we call fixed income products. And these are products that normally do not lose ground, as in that the interest you earn on them are steady and keep growing and growing. What you won't get is some one odd year that you will suddenly make 50%. No, it doesn't happen that way. It's very steady and consistent. You know, like in today's times, 15, 16, 17% kind of thing consistently. But you are not going to get any volatility in there. The medium risk person, now you see that we've introduced ARC Fund, B Fund, and Eddy Fund Tier 2. These are balanced funds. And by that we mean they have the fixed incomes of the bills and the bonds, and then we introduce some percentage of equity. That means stocks. So we know stocks are volatile. They can go up and they can come down, but it's not a lot. We balance it out. So depending on the type, there are different percentages that we put in. ARC Fund will be 70 fixed income, 30% equity. B Fund can be about 60% fixed income, 40% equity. Eddy Fund 2 could be even 20% equity. So we try and balance it and have something for every risk profile. Then on the extreme right, you would see that we've introduced EPAC and shares. EPAC is an 80% equity-based mutual fund, and then shares, if you buy shares, is 100% equity. That's a lot of volatility you've introduced out there. So if your risk tolerance is high, then and you can ride out price volatility changes. That's prices going up, down. Today is 4 cedis. The next day you come, the market has dropped it to 2 cedis. Another day is 2.5. But if you have the time and the patience to ride it out, chances are you will be able to make some more money than the steady fixed income side. Usually this slide would speak to people who will say, have a steady job or something like that. But it's important that you hear this kind of story at this point in your life. It's very, very important. And I can't overemphasize how I feel you guys are lucky. And especially when Herman answered John Bosco's question about the internet. You have the internet in your palm. When I was in school, there was no internet. There was nothing. There was even no cell phone, let alone internet. You know, we didn't have computers. You had to go into libraries, big libraries with you know, all sorts of books around. You have to go through things to get, but you have it. you have the opportunity in your palm. So you may be looking at a retirement account on the screen and saying, oh, you roll your eyes, retirement, yeah.
Hi, Kojo just went off. He'll join shortly, so please wait. Thank you. So Kojo is reconnecting, so they'll join. Kojo and Jillian will join very soon. Okay, please have patience. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, we just had a bit of an internet issue. So wait one moment while we just bring Kojo back online. Okay, Kojo.
Bumped out. So I would still continue. I'm not sure what point we lost connection, but I'll just continue from where I live. So when we talk of an emergency account, what we mean is you should have money that could cover at least 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. And when you have that kind of money, you shouldn't make it so easily accessible. You know, you don't want to keep your emergency account where when you are hot, no, you go and take your ATM card and you go and pick it up. That's not what we are talking about. We are talking about putting it into an investment like M-Fund that every day is earning you something, but it's still quite flexible when you really, really need it. But when you get to the amount that is required, like you've hit the amount that is required to let you live 3 to 6 months, that's fine. You just, after that, you don't need to overfill it and keep investing in it. Then you can start pushing it into some other investment account that you would obviously need, like a multi-purpose account. What is this account meant for? It's on the slide that you are seeing, it's speaking maybe to somebody who has a regular job. I've told you, we are preparing you for the future. Have this in your mind. But for a student like you, this kind of account should be an account that you are preparing for maybe further education, a master's or some course. As Herman indicated, you want to go and do programming for 3 months at IPMC or something. You need to prepare for it. We always say, I don't have money, I don't have money. But I'll show you why you can actually have the money to do it. Because you are in school and you are spending money. You are, no matter what happens, you come into money and you spend money. And you probably are not spending it the right way. And then finally, this, I can't overemphasize, feels like, oh, this man, this is 40 years time. Yeah, right. But if you start now, it is then much, much easier. Look, you'll be shocked at people who start thinking of retirement at age 50. You guys see a lot of people who are retired and are always looking poor. In Ghana, there's a sense that once you retire, you have to be poor. It's not true. It's just because we don't prepare and we don't plan, and you don't have to be poor in retirement. And the earlier you start, the better. I may be talking snit and things on the slide. It may not be speaking to you properly, but just note that you are preparing yourself for the work world. And when you come into the world and you are working, you don't want to live working life like this. Are you going to be one of the two who will retire comfortably, or you are going to be living on people's benevolence? That is not what you want. I will show you some numbers. You must know your number. And this is the 1 million slide. And what is your number? If I'm talking to somebody who is 45 years old now, 45 years old, there was somebody on the call who said they are in their 40s or getting to their 40s, and you want to hit 1 million by age 60. Look at the figure that you need. If you are 40, 762 cedis a month. Now, this is an assumption that you are earning 15% per annum. It's a very good conservative number. And we are not adjusting for inflation. 1 million is 1 million. This is a mathematical calculation. But a lot of you are in your 20s. And I have no doubt in my mind, I've been there before, you are definitely spending more than 90 cedis a month. Definitely. But if you are 25 years old and you start investing 89 cedis every month for the next, is it 35 years? For the next 35 years, you are hitting your 1 million. Yeah, I know somebody's thinking depreciation, value for money, blah, blah. Just as you go along, you can adjust. Because as you go along, if depreciation is hitting you, also the money that will come your way is definitely also going to increase. So if you were being given 50 cedis by your parents to live on campus, definitely when the cost of living goes up, that 50 will become 100. And if by then you were taking 10% of 50 to invest, when you get to 100, please stay at that 10% of the 100. Don't say the cost of living has gone up. So the 10% of 50, which was 5, you will still then keep 5. Then now you've dropped to 5%. But you can hit 1 million. It's doable. It's a question of time. And you have time. Roland, I can see you are very intensely looking. You have time, Roland, in your nice living room. But look at the power of compounding. With your 89 cedis every month, all you would have contributed in the entire period is 37,225 cedis. But compounding and the interest that you earn
Hi, we've lost them again and they are reconnecting, so please exercise patience.
Forgive today of all this, but it's all good. It's part of character building. It keeps you persevering and not giving up. Anyway, I think I've made my point here, and I'll move to my next slide. And I'm going to link this to COVID. And a lot of people, you would notice, said, oh, because of COVID, and oh, because of COVID. And anytime anybody says because of COVID, there's a negative narration following. I want us to stop that. We should stop following because of COVID with a negative narration. Let us follow COVID with a positive narration. Everybody wants to give an excuse. We love giving excuses why we can't do A or B or C. No, please. Because of COVID, Kasaprekon, as you can see it on your left, retooled and moved into sanitizers. They didn't raise their arms in the air and say, oh, we manufacture alcohol and other beverages, and they've closed down all the bars, and there's no clubbing going on, and there's no entertainment going on, so we are shutting down the company. No, because of COVID, they moved into hand sanitizers and started producing affordable ones. Because I remember in the first 2 weeks after lockdown, getting sanitizer was so difficult, and the prices had been hiked. But the moment Kasapreko started bringing in their 2 cedi bottles and things, everything started coming back to normal. They didn't throw their arms up in despair. Then you see the Budweiser beer. The story behind that is really simple. This was really in the US, but you know, the sales was mostly again at the bars, at the nightclubs. But this one, they didn't even change the product they had. Some people will say, oh, as for me, I can't change my product. Kasapreko could change, but me, I can't change. So what do I do? Same product, but different sales strategy. Now they started doing Zoom parties and Zoom kind of night clubbing, and then they will give you a screen where you can go, you know, and click and do your order, and you're at home, and then they've brought the beer to you at home at night, you know, with the music going on. And just because of the novelty of it, the sales even doubled. Guys, because of COVID, their sales doubled. That is the mindset I want you to be having. Then you see the goat. This was a company also that, you know, had, when companies are doing like team building things and all that, they would come to them. They had, you know, this farm where the company will bring maybe some executives or some staff to come and, you know, explore nature and all that. You know, especially on the other side of the world, they don't see goats and fowls and chickens like the way when you're walking the streets, there's a cow crossing the street, you know. So for them, it's a big deal. But because of social distancing and restrictions, their business was going down. Nobody was going to come there, right? But they didn't, but the animals are there, but they didn't give up. They didn't say, oh, because of COVID, we'll shut down our business. But because of COVID, they went into Herman's documentary mode. You remember he said he watches the documentary mode and brought them a live experience through technology of the farm and the animals. And because, look, you may not know, but Jillian, my co-host here, confirms it. She's Jamaican, Canadian, American. You can live in Canada from age 1 to age 80, and you will never see a fowl, a cuckoo fowl. You will never hear a cock crow. You will not. I'm telling you. Yeah. So when they go to Invesco and say, "Hi guys, we're going to visit a farm today where you will see goats and chicken," and it's a big deal. But this company, what they did was they brought that experience onto the screen for them. And guess what? They had Forbes 500 companies now calling them, "Oh, can you bring us this? Can you do this for us?" And their sales are even now tripling. Guys, because of COVID, you can do more. Finally, usually it would have been corruption I will talk about, but Herman has talked about that. The ethics is important. You guys, you think that corruption is only politicians. It's not true. When you are in school and you are cheating on your exams, you are beginning to practice corruption. And you cheat your exams, you come out into the world and you are cheating and you want to cheat at interview, and that is not the way it works. It takes time. But again, because of the challenges we are facing, I want to leave you with this. When there's a bend, this is not a time you just raise your hand and say you are going straight. There's a bend and so the road has ended. It hasn't ended. You have to take the turn. So this is not a time to give up in anything that you are facing. This is to take that bend and move along. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm done.
Thank you, Kojo. All right, so we're going to take some questions now, and I already see that there are hands that are popping up. So I will start with William. William, I'll ask you to unmute yourself, then I'll go to the chat, and we'll just take questions. We're out of time, but we'll take questions for maybe the next 10 minutes or so, and then we just have a few more giveaways and then we'll wrap it up. But before I take William's question, I just want to say I'm really grateful for everyone who has stayed on and just given us this time in your day. So William, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm grateful for the presentation and I'm very much enlightened this morning. I want to ask about the million target. So which of the investment packages that I will have to invest into before I can hit that target? Thank you very much.
Okay, good. So in my presentation, I did tell you that you always have to first ask yourself your own questions and ask yourself what risk tolerance that you would want to take. So depending on your risk tolerance, you would have, I gave you 3 buckets of products that you can go into. And I did give you the average rate that of 15% as at today's environment that would let you hit that number. So, you know, at Databank, we are very, very careful because of how the law is structured and how we communicate. A lot of the times people want to hear, oh, if I have 100 cedis in 3 months, how much will I get? If you ask me that, I'll point you to a treasury bill because that is the one that is a guaranteed return. We are not by law allowed to give you guaranteed returns because we're not a commercial bank. We don't sell fixed deposits. But you can do an investigation and research and see what returns the various products have been given. And then based on what your risk tolerance is, you can pick whichever products that you want. But I mean, for teaching purposes here, right now as we speak, the 1-year paper, I think the 1-year government of Ghana bond is at about 17%, the treasury bill. So it's just an example I'm giving you. I'm not saying that is what you should go for. But the other products too have other returns. And it varies because it's not a guaranteed return. Maybe this year, Eddie Fund will give you 15. Next year, it could give you 20. Another year, whatever happens, just don't stop the investment. As you saw with the power of compounding, every month, if you've told yourself it's 90 cedis a month, just stay there consistently. Don't tell yourself, oh, this month, then you stop it. No, no, no. I always say, if you can tithe, then you can invest. And the Bible is saying that tithe 10% of your income. And a lot of you love church and will tithe with passion. Please, the way you tithe with passion, invest even with more passion. So your 10% has gone to your tithe. I beg, the 10%, let it go to your investment. That's what I'll say.
Thank you, Kojo.
Okay, thank you very much.
I like your PD, William. I like it, pa.
All right, so now let me just switch to the chat very briefly. So someone is asking, when you do a stock or a product, I think the question is, when do you purchase a stock or a product? Is it when it is down? And how do I know the stock will not crash but will rise again? So that's one question.
Okay, so the what investors or what financial analysts usually will say is buy low, sell high. And it's always a very good debate. There are people who, pride themselves in being able to read the market and buy when it's at its lowest and sell when it's just peaking and all that. But yeah, the simple rule of thumb is buy low and sell high. Nobody can, say with 100% certainty that a stock will or will not crash. That one is then you are God. But there's a lot of research work that goes into the stocks and into the movement based on different models. And at Databank, we pride ourselves in being a very, very solid research house. So you could go and read some of the research reports and use that to make a decision. We will make a recommendation there in the report as in whether it's a hold, it's a buy, it's a strong buy, or it's a sell. But it's a recommendation based on our research. As we know, some markets are very inefficient, especially like the Ghana Stock Exchange. It's so inefficient, you can't understand why in a COVID environment where everybody is now on technology and data, MTN's price will still go down. It doesn't make sense, but it is what it is. So
anyway, there are two questions.
Okay, the question was how do you open I think it was how do you get to open an account at Databank, right?
Yes, and then
so there are several channels that you can use. Several channels. There's a *6100#. If you go onto our website www.databankgroup.com, all the channels are available there. You can call 0302-610-610, and then you can go on to *6100#. You can go on to our online platform. You can go onto our Databank app. You can walk into any of our 19 locations also scattered across the country. and physically, fill a form and on all that and open an account. The most important thing is make that move. Make that move. For those of you who are on the various university campuses, we have a branch in Tamale. We have a branch in Tamale. I forgot the area name, but it's on top of the MTN building. I'm advertising MTN free here. We are in Cape Coast as well. We are on Tech Campus within the UBA building. Universities again. Legon, your closest branch will be East Legon in the GT building. We are at Airport as well in the GT building. We are in Takoradi in the Smith building. We're in Kumasi in Edum, also close to the Smith building. So we're in Takwa for those who are in School of Mines in the GT building. We're in Sunyani for those who are in the universities in Sunyani on top of the GCB building. So where have I missed? We're in Tema and we're in Ashaiman as well for those of you who are in that area. So you can always, reach us in any shape or form at Databank. The second one was? Okay, it's gone.
Okay, we'll come back to the second one. I'm sorry. When we dropped off,
the chat dropped.
Yeah, the chat disappeared. So if you put a question in the chat that we haven't responded to, just put it again. I'm going to unmute John. So John, please unmute yourself and then go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much for the presentation. Like I said, my name is John, and in 2018, Databank organized a program, financial literacy competition, of which I participated. Actually, I learned a lot from that program, and at the end of the competition, my team was third. What I learned from the program about Databank, when I heard about Databank, the first thought that I had in mind was a commercial bank. But through that program, I got to understand that Databank is actually a fund management company. Now, my question is, what are some of the things that Databank is doing to actually make this education very clear to students on campus? Because most of the students on campus, and anytime I have a conversation with them about Databank, they always end up saying, I have a lot of bank accounts, so why should I open Databank account again? But they don't know that it's an investment account. So I want to know, what are some of the things that Databank is doing to ensure that students on campus actually understand that Databank is a fund management company. It's a place to invest, not a place to open savings account. Also, my last question. Also, I want to know, is there a way I can get my hands on some of the research Databank has done on the companies listed on Ghana Stock Exchange? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, and thanks for your concern. And yeah, sometimes the name is an advantage, and sometimes it also serves as a disadvantage. But we do quite a lot of campus storms and campus programs. And had it not been for COVID, the original plan, as we wrote out in January, was for me to tour almost all the campuses across the country. We actually started the first one in March. In fact, it was about 3 days or so before the president locked the country down, 2 days actually, where I was on Tech Campus to educate. And we expect that from here, when you also continue educating too on our behalf. But right now, as it is, all we can do is reach out through Zoom and continue the education. We've started going out back physically onto the campuses as well, but it's not as aggressive as pre-COVID. So yeah, we have a lot of work to do. It's not even only on the university campus. The whole country, sometimes people still don't get it. And I remember when the central bank asked banks to increase their minimum capital to 400 million, people were saying, how come as for Databank, you have not been asked to increase your minimum capital to 400 million? But they didn't understand that we were not a commercial bank. So your concern is even more of a concern to us than anything else. We'll continue the education. And in terms of our research work, I believe that it sits on our website. If you go on to www.databankgroup.com, I'm not sure which tab it is on, but I think it's under research. You see our publications there, a lot of them over there.
Okay, thank you so much, John. So we'll take, I think we may only have time for about 2 more questions. So I'll ask John Bosco to go ahead, and then we'll go to Mr. Morrison. So John Bosco, please go ahead and ask your question. Please, if you can summarize, it would be.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Honorable Kojo, I'm grateful to speak to you today. All the sections we have been doing, I tried speaking to you, but today I'm blessed. My question is, you see, we are in a country where we can't take away political meanings to everything. I'm one of the people who actually is becoming like ambassador for Databank wherever I go. But the counter I get is that Bosco, stop this, because when other parties come, when other political parties come, they will shut down Databank. So I want you to earnestly actually bank that assertion, so that I also take it from you, so that when this counter comes, I should be able to even also explain to people how it means. Because people say Databank actually is for the current finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, who is also involved in this PDS scandal. So I want you to debunk all those assertions, so that at the end of the day, I should be in my rightful position to actually give whatever it is to people so that they understand. Thank you so much, Mr. Kojo.
Thank you, Bosco. You are John Bosco Deladem Akotia, correct?
Yes, please.
Are you a student?
Yeah, I'm a teacher, but I'm furthering in another course. So currently, I'm also a student.
Fantastic. And where are you based?
You said?
Where are you based? In which part of the world?
I'm in Ho now.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, I forgot to say we also have a branch in Ho. Okay.
Yes,
thank
please.
you very.
Even the manager is my friend.
Oh, okay. That's nice. So thank you very, very much for your question. Yeah, Jude. Right. So yes. I'll try and explain this as concisely as I can. The fact remains and will never go away, and we are proud actually of it, that the current finance minister founded Databank. He was a co-founder. We have been in existence for 30 years. The company was founded during the military rule. We've gone through, I don't know how many cycles of elections. The current sentiments are feeding into the fact that financial institutions were closed down. And so maybe it's a different sentiment. But I'll just like to explain a bit how our structure is and what we do and how we do it. And the fact that as much as possible, I mean, we are humans, so we could make an error here or there, but we work according to the law, 100%. And in fact, to be honest, because our founder has found himself in the position he finds himself, it even behoves on us to even be more above board than any other company in the country. So Databank has a group kind of structure where we have the Databank Asset Management Company, and we have the Databank Brokerage Limited, and we have Databank Financial Services. So those are at the company level. Now, most of what you see, which is the Databank M Fund, Databank EPAC, Databank B Fund, Databank Eddy Fund, have I said everything? Databank ARC Fund. Those you see as products by law are actually registered as companies on their own. All right?
Yes.
That Ken is not sitting on it. So technically, I mentioned 3 companies, and then I've mentioned another 5 companies. So I'll just use one company as a quick illustration. So let's take M Fund. So M Fund is registered as a company on its own. Its fund manager, M Fund's company, its fund manager is Databank Asset Management Limited. But the clients who are invested in M Fund are the shareholders of M Fund. We have an annual general meeting every July. You will see that we will publish a financial, annual general meeting, the booklet. We publish the report, annual report of M Fund, where all disclosures are. How much money we got, how much money was withdrawn, where we have invested the money. We invested it, X amount in ESLA, X amount in Government of Ghana, 2-year bond, 5-year bond, blah, blah, blah. If you pick the EPAC report as an example, it shows you where we have invested, which company, Bamburi Cement in Kenya, Equity Bank in Kenya, so-and-so in Mauritius, so-and-so Telecom in Egypt. It clearly shows you where all the investments have been taken. Now, M Fund on its own has its own independent board. So if you pick the M Fund report, you will see that the board members of M Fund, Mr. Gogo, Reba Greenstreet, Dan Sedo, and myself, Professor Addae, and myself. I am the only Databank employee who sits on that board. There's no Ken Overiata, there's no Kelly, there's nobody there. Every quarter, we have a meeting. In that meeting, the board will ask me, Kojo, this month or this quarter, how much money came into M Fund? I'll say X. How much money was withdrawn from M Fund? I'll say Y. How many accounts did you open? The money that came, what did you use it for? Has it been used within the scheme particulars that we approved and filed at the Securities Exchange Commission? To the minutest CD. Now, that money that came, those of you who are already investors in Databank, when you are depositing money into an M Fund account or whichever product, or Eddie Fund, whichever, you are not putting the money direct. We are not a bank. We don't have we don't have a vault. We don't have a license to take money into our own vault and have a clearing account. No. For M Fund, we have a custody bank. By law, you are required to have a custody bank. We don't have any related party with GT Bank, which is our custody bank. It is not owned by any of our founders. Some of our competitors, you will see that the custody bank is the same as the fund bank. It was murky. But your money will go and sit in a custody account at GT Bank. Then GT Bank will send a report to our fund manager, M Fund fund manager, and say, hey, John Bosco and Morrison brought 100 CDs yesterday. The fund manager will say, okay, now can you send that 100 CDs to go and buy 100 CDs worth of Government of Ghana 91-day bill or ESLA or whatever and invest it on behalf of Bosco and Morrison? So the question is, so how does Databank make money as a company? Now, I told you that the fund manager is Databank Asset Management Limited. When you buy, you notice that we will charge maybe for M Fund a front load. When you buy 100 CDs, we charge you 1%. It's for our paperwork and all the things that we will have to file and all that. That's what we use that money for. Then at the end of the day, there's a management fee too that we will take. So the money we earn to pay our electricity bill, to pay salary, to buy a car, to do this, is from the management fee that we've taken off the amount of money we are managing. We have no right under any law whatsoever, and my board will not, the M Fund board will not even allow it, to go and dip our hand into Morrison's money to go and do any frivolous thing that we want to do. It won't happen. So let's just say, for argument's sake, that there's some mischief that wants to happen. Nobody can come and close down M Fund. Nobody. There are over 100,000 shareholders within M Fund. In fact, 200,000, yeah. Shareholders in M Fund, 200,000 shareholders of M Fund. You should have seen our last AGM. When we have AGM physically at conference center, we fill the conference center. So it is a company on its own. So if for mischief's sake, say, you want to come and then close down the fund manager, Databank Asset Management Limited, who all we have or all we earn is a management fee on M-Fund. Fine. I don't even know on what basis you are going to shut sell down for breaching what? What have we breached? What if we don't even have interrelated party transactions, which if you read the BOG report was the biggest problem. We do not, what we earn is what we can use to do whatever we want to do with. I can't touch M-Fund money. I can't touch IPAC money. I can't touch B-Fund money. I can't touch Eddie Fund money. No way. So you shut down asset management, fine. But M-Fund Company Limited still exists. What will they do? They'll find another fund manager. The reports are with the custodian. The money is sitting in Government of Ghana treasuries, mostly as M-Fund. If it's IPAC, it's sitting in stocks and stocks across Africa. So another fund manager will just go and pick it, take the report and know that, yes. So it is up to M-Fund board to appoint the new fund manager. This is not politics. Where does the politics come into this? It's mischief to try and rope in the Honorable Finance Minister, but I am not shy that he is Finance Minister. Why should I be? He built this company 30 years ago. He left it in 2014. And the good Lord brought me in. Big shoes to fill. What we want to do is build a legacy of a Ghanaian company that will live after us and employ more people. When we walked in here in 2014, we were 4 locations. Today we are 19. Is it not Ghanaians who are there? We have over 300,000 clients. Are they all MPP? We have over 200 members of staff. Are they all MPP? We are employing people. And we are doing things according to the law. So anytime I'm waking up and sleeping, I'm praying that my staff are doing things according to the law. Let me quickly talk about Databank brokerage. What are we? Yeah, I'll wrap up. But it's a very important, I've intentionally taken my time to explain to Bosco because it's a very, very important. And we are a few weeks to the election. So I think it's a relevant subject. I'll take brokerage very quickly. If you want to buy treasury bills or you want to buy stocks, you have to buy through a licensed broker. We are duly licensed. We have some of the best ADOs, authorized dealing officers in the country. One of our ADOs has the highest marks of all time at the Ghana Stock Exchange. So if you want to buy treasuries or you want to buy stocks, you have to do it through a licensed broker. So, well, if you bought the shares through us or you bought the treasuries through us, you have your certificate. Let us, for argument's sake, say through mischief, brokerage 2 is shut down. You have your certificate. You just go to another broker and sell your stock. It has nothing to do with us. Absolutely nothing. So if we are touch wood as a company not there, it doesn't mean that your investment will go. It won't happen. I'm done.
Thank you very much, Kojo. So we are quite past time, and so I think we'll have to stop here. Kenneth, we've seen your question on risk tolerance and investing, and I will get the answer from Kojo and follow up with you after the session. So you'll still get your response. But I really just want to thank everybody as we close for staying through to the end. And to reward your patience, we just have a few more things that I would like to give away. I have 20 CDs airtime again, if you will answer a question. And so raise your hands and let us see who goes first. So question number 1 is, and this is for 20 CDs airtime, on which mobile networks can you access *6100#? And the first hand up was for Donna. So 1 second. One moment, please. Let me just. Donna, I saw your hand and it disappeared. Okay, I see it again. Okay, please unmute yourself and just let us know which networks is the star 6100 platform available. Donna, we can't hear you. Okay, let me try unmuting you again one more time. Please go ahead.
Please, it's available on MTN.
Is that your final answer?
MTN and Vodafone.
Okay, thank you very much, Donna. So you just won 20 CDs airtime, and just confirm your phone number in the chat with your name, and then we'll follow up with you after. So if everyone can lower their hands, then I have one more question. And this one is for, wow. This one is for another 50 CD gift voucher. And the question is, name all of Databank's mutual funds. Very easy. So let me see your hands. Ooh. Okay, Daniel, I will go with you first. So can you please unmute yourself and name all of Databank's mutual funds?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Daniel, you can go ahead.
There's Eddie Fund.
Because I'm not hearing you.
There's Eddie Fund.
Can you speak up or maybe increase the volume of your mic?
Okay, so there's Eddie Fund. There's Eddie Fund.
Yes.
There's
Oh, Danielle. Danielle, you've disappeared. Yeah, I will just see. Oh, we lost him. Okay, so let me go with William. William.
Yeah. So the Databank mutual funds, we have the M fund, we have the Eddie fund, we have the M fund and then the Eddie fund.
Okay. Is that your final answer? I'm asking for all of Databank's mutual funds. Is that your final answer?
Okay, we have M fund, Eddie fund, EPAC.
Okay, are you done?
Yes, please.
Okay, so that is unfortunately not correct. You only named 3. There are a couple more that you should have named. So we'll give somebody else another turn, and I'll ask Jessica to unmute yourself. Jessica, yes, please unmute yourself and give us the answer, which is what? Please list all of Databank's mutual funds.
Okay,
Jessica.
we have the Eddie Fund, ARC Fund, M Fund, and then the EPAC.
Please repeat it again.
Hello?
Your voice.
Please, can you hear me?
Go again. Start again.
We have the Eddie Fund, ARC Fund, M Fund, EPAC.
Okay, that's your final answer?
Yes, please.
Oh, you're missing one. So I'm going to have to move to the next person again. So thank you so much, Jessica. Joshua, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself and let's see what you have to say. Joshua, please go ahead. Joshua, okay.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Hi. So the same question.
Same question.
So the Edifund, the EPAC, the M Fund, the the B Fund rather. Then I think we have the AC Fund.
Yes. Okay, that's it. You've said it all. Thank you very, very much, Joshua. So again, please put your phone number in the chat and we will give you a 50 CD gift voucher for getting the correct responses. So that actually brings the program to an end. I hope that, one very, very important announcement, sorry. Starting today and until November 2nd, we are having a brief promo for everyone on this call. So anybody who invests 50 CDs or more between now, today, and November 2nd, we will add 20 CDs to your account. So we'll send out an email after this with details, but this is just to let you know that anybody who does that, we will add 20 CDs. So everybody who is on the call, if you invest, you'll get 20 CDs anyway. So stand by for the email that you will receive later today. But thank you all once again for being a part of this program. We have another installment of this coming up in November. So stay tuned and we'll see you then. But all the best, and I will ask Gloria, are you there? Let's see if she's still there. One moment.
Hi, Jillian.
Hi, Gloria. So Gloria is the sales manager for our head office, and I'm just going to ask Gloria to say the closing prayer and send us home.
Okay, shall we pray? We thank you, O God, for a successful program. We thank you that we've had the opportunity to share and acquire knowledge. We pray that we'll put it to use, that we all will become millionaires and be successful someday. In Jesus' name have we prayed. Amen.
Thank you very much, Gloria. So everybody who put a message in the chat, I've seen Gadiel, Brian, I've seen your message. I'll respond. So thank you once again. Have a wonderful day and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.